right, are we on the internet? Let us find out. We are! Hooray! Happy Thursday, friends! So yeah, I am here. Hopefully we will have a couple other people to hang out with shortly. Have the coffee, have the art project desire. There's Patrick. Yay! Hi, Patrick. How's your morning going? I just froze. No! I don't look frozen to me. Am I still frozen to you? There's Laura. Hi, sweetheart. Am I good now? Freaking out. Oh, stream. Okay, awesome. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. I don't want to have to worry about the stream too much today. So I'm working on my Mad Map March prompt for today, which I don't know if I love this design or not, but it's got to get done, so. You're drinking yours black, Myrna. Why? And honestly, this is heavy cream, so. My fancy coffee is like the one giant luxury of my life right now. I'm not willing to forego it in any way. I bought myself a new set of pens, you guys. I feel very luxurious. Powdered whitener. Gross. On the plus, though, powdered whitener means you're at the top of the food chain because there's a chance that that might be Tyrannosaurus. You are intermittent fasting. Good for you. I have been curious about that and terrified to try it, so congratulations for doing something that I am curious about in a non-confident way. But you guys also drink much higher quality coffee than I do for the most part, so I imagine drinking black when you drink good quality coffee is not nearly the skill testing question that it is when you're drinking cheaper stuff. Yeah, how was Art Jam on Tuesday? Bitter beans. I cannot tell if you're joking or not, Patrick. Is it a brand name? Is it a something else? Desperation does lead to questionable choices. I feel like that is one of those quotes that is just a truism that should be shared as a meme on the internet. I don't drink a lot of takeout coffee, so I don't have an opinion on the McDonald's thing. Do you think it was a bust because it was Tuesday, Myrna? Like, do you think that that made a big difference? I'm glad you and Cass got to have good chats. Tea when takeout, hey? I find sometimes apparently I cannot word today, so let's just take that under advisement. Sometimes find that takeout tea is worse. What is the theme for today's Mad Map March? Today's Mad Map March is, just let me grab the window here, the ruins of Nem. Situated at the edge of the Badlands, and in some places nearly indistinguishable from the remnants of the eruption, stands the crumbling remains of the ruins of Nem. Archaeological evidence from the site, while scarce, includes ancient statue of Nem. Nem is believed to be the mystical leader of a small band of humans. He was regarded as a wise man and led the people in their beliefs about the universe. So I am making up this statue as I go. I don't know how I feel about it so far, but that's okay. I don't have to like it, I just have to draw it. Earl Grey tea is good. You drink Kenyan Dream, you think? Or Ceylon? The only Kenyan tea I've ever tried is a Kenyan Tinderet, which I don't know if that's the same thing. Good morning, Nightless. How are you? Or I guess not morning where you are. Morning where I am. I draw a square for each day. So I usually suck at doing things every day. So what I've decided to do for this one is I'm limiting my size to the size of one of these Project Life cards because it's a reasonable size, and just doing one a day. And then my intention is to take them at the end and draw a large map and then put them into Photoshop and shrink them down so that they're just little icons peppered throughout the map. Just little kind of illustrative teasers about what the locations look like. We'll see if it works or not. So I'm hoping it's not terrible, but we'll find out. I dislike drawing men's physiques. I do not feel like I am good at them. Yeah, I think it'll be alright. I did one large map last year, but I did it as adding the geological formations to the same map every day. And while I ended up with a really cool looking map, it was incredibly haphazard because I hadn't really pre-planned the flow of things and where it was going to go. So like it was cool, but it really had zero realism to its name. Not that that's always a bad thing. I think it was fine. It was certainly like kind of in the scope of the C.S. Lewis Narnia map, I felt anyway, just with the colors and stuff like that. But I kind of want this one to have a different feeling, so trying to figure out how to achieve that. I've been really like trying to push myself in a couple of different directions lately just to kind of give myself that sense of experimentation back. I feel like I got kind of not stale, but just really used to doing things in one particular way. And that will lead to stagnation if you're not careful. So just trying to get it out and do a few more things with it and see how it goes. A new set of pens is such a lovely treat. They make me very, very happy. This Mad Map March is also really different because I think last year, if I'm remembering correctly, they didn't give descriptions of the prompts. They just gave you like a type of geographic landform, like a volcano or a gorge or valley. I cannot word today. And so like it was kind of up to you to come up with the narrative of what was going on. And this time there's actually like names and narrative plot points that kind of go along with it and whatever. And I admit I really dig that because it kind of gives you a lot more focus and direction. I don't find it feels stifling yet, but I'm also better able to just view it as a project, like homework. And I like that. Oh, speaking of homework, that reminds me, I was going to show you guys this. So I am taking a Facebook-based cartography class from a Polish cartographer that I admire so much. And this is the first map of the first set of homework for it. And I did the coastline off of a picture of peeling paint and love it so much. I did not anticipate that to be such a fabulous way of generating a coastline. I think it looks really natural and irregular, and that's always like one of the biggest challenges for designing a coastline is making it look sufficiently random. This course is focused very, very much on like actual cartographic principles with which I am only passingly familiar. I'm pretty good with like landform layout and how it should probably go together, but like in terms of scale and stuff like that, terrible. So you'll notice that there's actually like grid lines on here, and I can't even express to you how incredibly unnerving it was to put grid lines on my map. But yeah, so this is the area that Lisa's character Daria is from in the game that I'm running. We've been doing a lot of world building on kind of her back history and her area of the world. And I thought, because she's moving this summer, it would be really nice to give her a beautiful map as a going away present. So yeah, this is what I'm working on the side right now, and I'm really happy with it. So yes, I do not know how to pronounce his name, Naglis. Is it Schlupp? Is that an SH sound or a hard ch? Or I speak zero Polish, so that is a concern for me. Thank you. I'm really happy with it. And we get to draw it like numerous times over the next little while. Chlup. Thank you. That's very helpful. Because in English, it's definitely going to be a CH or an SH sound. No, but I figure you're probably closer to right than I am. But yes, I'm super excited to be doing that class. I think it'll be really useful for me to get a better grind on all of that stuff. I feel like it's going to make me like a real cartographer, which I cannot say that I have like felt like up until now. Well, I wouldn't say even now, but just so far, I guess. Let's rephrase that a little. Your pronunciation is kind of the same. It's a good description, Laura. I find English just so strange because we make so many different sounds, because English is the great bastardizer of languages, so I feel like we don't get enough grounding to speak like any one great accent. You just get just enough to confuse everybody. So So one of my constraints for this Mad Map March thing is that I'm trying really hard to be done each of these within an hour. I'm trying to avoid a repeat of Inktober, where sometimes I would spend the entire day working on one prompt. Don't get me wrong, my Inktober work from last year is something I'm super proud of. I did really good work, but I have other things that also need to be done in this span of time, so I can't afford to be giving that much time and dedication to this challenge. So trying to operate within the constraints of a more reasonable time limit. Cool. That sounds interesting. What is a Thurkova? Orthodox Church, okay. Oh, Patrick, that's exciting. Are you doing it at the same scale? I'm assuming so, so that they match. Okay, cool. Cool, 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 cool. I'm excited to see how it turns out. I didn't realize just how much like the constant stippling absolutely trashes my 005 pens until I was trying. I had 3 005 pens that I found in my pen stash that I was trying to use, and all of the nibs were just like fragments of the length of the ones that I had just bought. I was like, oh, that explains a few things. Okay. So I think I need to have a little bit more respect for the intensity with which this damages pens. I invested in a bottle of what is supposed to be a very, very solid waterproof black ink for fountain pens. That should be arriving in the next couple of days. And I'm really hopeful that it is as good as they claim it is, because I would like to be able to start doing more of my drawing with my fountain pens just to cut down on the environmental impact of throwing out plastic pen bodies all the time. But I still know that, like, even my extra fine nib on that pen, I don't know if I can get finer in other brands. If I can, then I'm going to have to look into that. Isn't as fine as like a 005. I think it might be just like a 02 or something. So considering how much I use a 005, it might not solve the problem entirely, but I think it would at least help. So I'm hopeful. We'll see what happens. I wonder, like, if it's waterproof if I wait a certain amount of time, because, like, that's another concern. I don't want it to throw off my, like, stream of working. One of the great things about these pens is that they're instantly waterproof, right? Like, as soon as they're dry, they're good to go. I don't have to, like, give it a setting time or a curing time. And some watercolor inks, or not watercolor, but fountain pen inks, you need to let it rest for a bit and then come back to it later, and I'm less interested in that, which is such a first world problem. Like, really, it's just changing a workflow. It's completely possible. But flow states are important, and I like them. I was gonna say or. Interesting. What is a stealth wrap? What's your product? Oh, makes the paint not shiny. Interesting. I feel like that's a Batman aesthetic. That's really cool, Nicholas, and generous of you. I need more practice drawing ruins, you guys. Like, for real. What kind of things do we find in ruins? A column, maybe, of some kind? You can probably hear Saxon rearranging himself. Vines, trees, moss, broken statues. Yes. Kit Kat candy calls your name. Laid out bricks. Boy Meets World. Hey, that's a throwback. Huh. Interesting. Even Mr. Feeney? No way. Vince Neil is a bit of a ruin. I am afraid I do not know who Vince Neil is, Patrick. Please don't be mad and throw things. I am terrible with faces and names and all of that. From Motley Crue. Okay. Yes, you can shame me for it. That's fine. Oh, that makes more sense. Yeah, I absolutely understand that sentiment. it's really difficult to be witness to that kind of degeneration is a really harsh word, but that's definitely kind of where I'm sitting. Just because, like, yeah, you really enjoyed these people and you wanted them to succeed and you got some kind of vicarious thrill from them, and then to see them starting to age and fail is really hard. Alright, I think we're going to call that one finished. I am content with it for now. So, yeah. Good enough. And still within my hour. Awesome. Yeah, 40 minutes is alright, right? I'm feeling pretty good about that. Really don't know what I think of the design, but whatever. The important part is it's done. Okay, guys, what do I want to work on now? That was my big to-do for today. I guess I could start my Patreon map for this month. That would probably be good. So I'm wondering if I should try this look for a paint peel again thing, because I found that super successful when I was doing the coastline for that other map. So just give me a second here. Different window. There we go. Peeling paint. Kind of like this one. All right, let's start with that. think one of the other interesting things about this is doing almost like the blind contour. So like I'm drawing it, but I'm being very imprecise because I'm just looking at what I'm examining as opposed to looking at the lines on the paper. Alright, have a good one, Nicholas. Marna did a steady stream of like blind contour drawing for a while, and I really enjoyed watching that process. It was really cool. And there is a lake in here. A big lake. Yes, this is paint sketching. Just kind of going off of a photograph of some peeled paint. Seeing where it takes me. Alright, let's see what we can do for coastlines. This is a 2H. Let's see how well it's showing up on your screen. That's not terrible. Yeah, I work in 2H because it's easier to erase, and that makes life a little bit easier. Okay, so let's do coastlines first. Let's do the coastline in a 0-5. In a year's time, hey, that's a good goal. Keep you nice and focused. Printers that can print and bind 1117? I don't know. Mine doesn't do binding at all. So, like, I can print at 11 by 17, but I can't do the binding. My guess is that if you want to do binding, you're probably going to have to talk to a copy shop. Unless by printers you mean like a copy shop and not like the actual machine. Oh, that would be fun, Laura. Like another octopus? Or a different kind of creature on it? Sea creatures. Yeah, I can imagine that, Patrick. I don't have any research into that stuff, I'm sorry. I just don't know. Didn't... Oh my goodness. I'm struggling to remember his name now. It's a three-part name. Justin... I want to say his initials are JDW. Or JDR. He did the, for a long time he was posting like almost daily in the mapping group with the black and white maps that were like all just unique dungeon designs, and he did a Kickstarter a little while ago. He might be somebody that you want to talk to. He might have more insight on that whole process. At least I think he did the Kickstarter. I seem to remember getting an email about that. Ooh, a Nautilus would be fun. Nautilus are so pretty. Yes, that sounds right. Justin David Russell. He might be the guy you want to talk to. The shells are pretty cool. There's so many patterns and fascinating things about them. So which side is the paint chips and which is the water? I haven't really decided. I had originally been intending for the main mass to be the land with some really significant lakes, but the islands could be really fun too. Aw, man. Now you got me worried about this. I didn't know that, Laura. Isn't a cockle very small, though? I thought that was the primary difference. So I thought cockles were like a subspecies of clam. Let's delay figuring this out while we just outline it in a darker pen. Then we can decide. Islands makes a lot of sense for like the area that I'm kind of world building right now. Being kind of a maritime coastal atmosphere. So if I intend to use this map in game, then it's a good idea to go with the islands. Apparently some are big. Okay, neat. I did not know that. Feel bad that I don't have a whole lot to say today, you guys. I'm just kind of chilling out. It kind of depends on the scale of the map that I'm working on. I typically start in pencil for my coastlines and then where my mountain ranges are going to go. But I'm super loose with my mountain ranges. I just kind of throw a bunch of like spikes in the spots where I want to go just to see how the range motion is going to be. Normally I don't do this double lining coast thing. Normally I start with the pen thickness that I think I'm going to want. Today I started with a 0.5 and I should have started with the 0.8 to start with. Just because by the time I got the 0.5 done, I went, that's not thick enough, and needed to go back into it to get the line weight that I wanted. But it kind of depends on scale, kind of depends on, honestly, my mood. How do I feel this looks today? If I want something more robust, if I want something a little more delicate. Part of the reason that I'm doing a thicker coastline this time is that was one of the assignments, one of the parts of the assignment for the cartography course I'm taking, is to vary your line width with what you're drawing more. And I'm trying to practice that a little bit more. Yeah, a 0.05 is very, very fine. And it'll give you like beautiful, delicate drafting lines, but it'll also, all of it will read the same, right? So, and varying line weight is something that I do a lot more when I'm like drawing real world stuff as opposed to drawing maps. So trying to incorporate that lesson into geography is a different one for me. It really does. Like, everything looks ethereal in a 0.05. That delicacy is valuable, but at the same time, you want to kind of preserve it so that it doesn't lose its effect, which is something I'm trying to learn right now. Have I tried any more isometrics? I have not. I keep meaning to. I originally thought that I might do all of my Mad Map March things as ISOs, and then I realized that if I was putting my hour time limit on it, that was not going to work because my skill set is not good enough to bang out something in ISO in an hour. Although it would have been a great kind of boot camp, I guess, if I'd been able to stick to it. My intention is to sit down and start one pretty quick. Sometime this month anyway, just because I feel like if I don't keep up with it, I lose track of how to do it and then scramble a whole bunch, which I don't want to do. So need to do another one and practice. I have that Necromancer's Dungeon that I mapped out in 2D, like just a flat floor plan that I showed off to the group a little while ago. A couple weeks ago now, I guess. And I was thinking it might be fun to try to ISO design that one because there's so many level changes that it would be an interesting challenge. But it also might be more complicated than what I'm capable of doing right now. And that's definitely a possibility. So what do we think? Islands? I feel like that's a giant bunch of islands, or it's a huge landmass, and I can't decide. Yeah, the library as one big room makes a ton of sense. A ton of sense. Islands, hey? Okay. That will be the plan then. So we need some rivers. Need some mountains first. All right. Let's go. Mountains here. Mountains here. Mountains here. Mountains here. That needs to be erased or it's going to confuse me. I do. I actually have an entire system of rune-based magic for one of my societies. It's one of the symbols is actually the thing that I would like to get a tattoo of. I've shown it off on stream before. I can send you pictures of it. Why do you ask? I wouldn't say I'm good at designing them. There's a whole lot of like thought and theory that goes into it that I just don't have. But it's fun. Oh. Well, I mean, if you Google alchemy symbols, they will come up. There is like a whole system of them that is very codified. And that would really match with J.K. Rowling's Eurocentric view of Harry Potter. You can also just pick symbols that are meaningful to you, like pick the one for your astrological chart if you want to, or that of like your friends. There's alchemical symbols for like fire and water and earth and stuff. Prince made his up from the symbols for male, female, and soapstone, which I did not know there was an alchemical symbol for, but I mean, cool. Stuff like that. That's totally awesome, Patrick. Numbers are magical. Have you ever read The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett? Because the Pixies in that book believe that writing is magic and that it's dangerous because it can write down, like it can record what happened and speak to it even if you're not there to defend yourself. And I absolutely love Pratchett's representation of that in the book. Like, it's just fabulous. So that's what that reminds me of. It's worth reading. It's very worth reading. I describe the We Free Men books as if what if Anne of Green Gables decided she wanted to be a witch. And it's fabulous. Yeah, do that, Laura. I'm sure that that would be good. Alright, I think I have most of this erased. Alright, so we want mountains in there. Where do we want some rivers? So, mountains. Do. Okay. I think we might put a compass rose in here. Let's say right about here. In the upper left, up here, this is where all the mountains and stuff are. This is a landmass in my brain. And then these are islands. Is that not what you're picturing? You're with me? Okay. Cool, 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 cool. So yeah, okay, we got compass rose hanging out down here. I think we'll probably put in some radial lines on this map, maybe just to try something new. But in the meantime, let's throw some mountains in this thing. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Kind of depends on what I'm feeling. My earliest maps, I just did a basic black border around the outside. Some of the more recent ones, I've done like really elaborate borders. Just kind of feeling out how I like the decorative border element. Turns out I like it a lot. I enjoy it quite a bit. So probably do more of that at some point. I'm trying to play with layering my mountains a little bit more. There was an interesting post in the map making group about how ranges are far more complex and usually wide than most fantasy mappers draw them. And so trying to experiment with that, see if I can get more interesting design that way. Hey Gary, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, I've seen you do that. It looks pretty good. Maybe I can do something like that in this corner. Make it a little more decorative. It's one of my fears about doing like island maps. I never know if like it's quote unquote enough work because there's so much more water. Hey Laura, welcome back. Slow to get moving today is totally alright. Totally. Hi to Molly too. Alright, let's put some lines into these here mountains. That was a 3. Where's my 1? Right here. Oh, a kraken would be fun. Yeah, totally. I haven't drawn too many map creatures, to be very honest. It's something that I probably could invest a lot more time in. I did a few for Dexter's map way back in the day. And then I did a dragon on Raven's map a while ago as well. A sea squirrel. I haven't seen one of those in forever. On your religions poster. Yeah, that would be. That'd be fun. An ocean ocelot? That doesn't sound like a real thing. You may have a point, Gary. Welcome back, Myrna. Yes, I think krakens very well could have been murder octopuses. I think the point we can agree upon is that murder is the key to a kraken. That's what this conversation is telling me. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the worst. Headphones are definitely the universal leave me alone. I like Cabal of Kraken. Cabal? Cabal. I don't know. That's a good question, Patrick. I don't know if it's a plural or a singular creature. Because the is also like a directive. Release the Kraken. Although I imagine if you had more than one, you would have had a hard time storing them. Maybe they're like phoenixes, and whenever one dies, another one just spontaneously appears. I've never thought about kraken procreation. Gotta be honest, that's a new one. An octopus gets promoted. Could you imagine having a pet kraken? Like, taking that thing for a walk? What do kraken poops look like? Do you have to clean them up? Saxon is looking at me like, Mom, you think a kraken is like a dog? No, buddy, I really don't. Well, I both think you could eat my face off. I do not think a kraken is like a dog. Wouldn't it just be the sky? Like, realistically? Sea level? Yes. Oh my goodness, you guys. Oh, I might need to stop for today. I made good progress though. Got my Mad Map March thing finished, which is awesome. Sea of Love, awesome. Got this started, so yeah, this looks a really productive stream for me. Thank you for hanging out. The wider mountain looks better. This one? Or just like the ranges being wider in general? Because I think that those look pretty cluttered to me. I don't know if I like it or not. In general, okay. I feel like they look like a lot right now. But they might make more sense once they're like properly heavy lined and stuff like that too. Break up the hatching a little bit more. Alright, I'm gonna call it, friends. We will do this again next week. I may be streaming later in the day next week. I'm supposed to make a run into a nearby city that morning. So I'll probably stream in the afternoon next week. I will post not as good as a compass rose. Okay, now I'm confused. But yeah, so I'll post times next week. Follow the regular Facebook channel for those updates. And yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Patrick, thanks for reminding me this morning. I hadn't forgotten, but I had forgotten to post about it, so appreciate you being like, hey, what up? But yeah, I am going to go and get something else to drink and take a break and rest my hands for a minute, and then I will be back at this later. So you guys have a good one. Laura, enjoy the rest of your day. I think there's one more person lurking. Hi, lurker. Hope you have a good day too. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye.